Let's go to Ken. Did you have a follow-up on that, or we're all followed out on that one? Okay. Let's go to Vicki from Enterprise News.
I think to you.
To me? Good.
I think so.
Okay.
And I'm not singling you out, but with the question, although it'll seem that way, everyone was stunned across the nation in January when Scott Brown unexpectedly won the state Senate seat to represent Massachusetts. And since then, the economy has not gotten any better. Incumbents don't fare well generally in elections in which there's a lot of economic trouble in a state. For you, do you ever feel that you're in the wrong political party? Links to the DNC as chairman. Why are you a Democrat in this climate? And I suppose if I were to ask Representative Polito, I would say, does it guarantee you success being an outsider and a Republican?
The most important thing I've ever done, it seems to me, in my political life is I helped elect Bill Clinton President of the United States in 1992, and I helped him during those 8 years. During those 8 years, we saw 22.7 million jobs created, and we saw the country in the best financial shape of my lifetime. We did it because we were pretty disciplined financially. We brought a good business plan to the country, and we reined things in, and we made things happen. So that's exactly what I hope I want to do. My values as a Democrat really go back to Franklin Roosevelt. In 1937, in his second inaugural, he said, the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but whether we provide enough for those who have too little, too few jobs, too little health care, too little economic hope, too little dignity. That's what makes me a Democrat. And to be able to take my 35 years of leadership in business, treating our people right, taking a man who was out sick for 6 months with throat cancer and making sure that he didn't lose a dime of pay, those are my values. That's what makes me not only a Democrat, but that's what makes me a citizen. And being a state treasurer, or being a politician, or being a political activist is more about being a citizen than anything else. And I think the citizens of this Commonwealth deserve a treasurer who's going to go to work every day, use 35 years of leadership to create jobs, meet payrolls, manage money, solve problems, deal with crises, protect their money, revitalize small businesses. That's why I decided to run. That's why I'm proud to be a Democrat.
I think my opponent talks about his 35 years in the work that he's done, and he's also described his other family business as being politics, and that there's connections to the Bill Clinton administration when he was the DNC chair, did such a good job as a professional fundraiser for the party. He earned himself an overnight at the Lincoln bedroom. And also at that same time, you supported Mike Dukakis, who was you were his finance chair when he was running for president. So it's the liberal tax and spend policies that you align yourself with. It's the same policies that I feel have not helped us create the climate in Massachusetts that will grow the jobs and get people back to work. The issue that is so telling to me, and why I ran for office in the first place for the State House of Representatives, is you need those checks and balances. You need to have that public debate. The fact that the legislature and the Democratic leadership would not come back in and debate and have a roll call vote on additional spending and pay raises being ushered through in an informal session is disgraceful, and it's dysfunctional. The fact that we continue to spend beyond our means at Beacon Hill and raising taxes to balance the budget is exactly what people do not want to see more of. And the only way we'll be able to check that and to rein in spending is if you have more two-party system on Beacon Hill.
30-second response from Mr. Grossman.
Yeah, just a quick comment. I certainly, when I think my party or leaders in my own party are doing the wrong thing, I'll say so. When I ran for governor of Massachusetts in 2002 and the tax rate was 5.3%, I thought we could do the people's business and reduce it to 5% at that point. So I proposed a couple of $2 billion of actions that would allow us to get to 5%. I was ripped apart by leaders in my own party, and I was ripped apart by those who thought I was their friend. I got to call them like I see them. Protecting the public's money, protecting the taxpayers' money is the right thing. And if I see things going on, whether it's offered by my own party or anybody else, I'm going to speak up as I did in 2002. That's what leadership is all about.
Well, I think there's a big difference between us on spending. And obviously the proposals on the campaign trail is just more political rhetoric. I've actually not only talked the talk, but I've walked the walk, standing up against my own party at times, as well as the Democratic Party. And also on spending, when you look at benefits for illegal immigrants. This is something that you support. This is an area where you wrote a letter to the former Speaker of the House, Dear Sal, in support of in-state tuition for illegal immigrants. A big difference when you're talking about someone that wants to maintain the status quo and more spending on Beacon Hill and someone who wants to take a whole new approach.
Okay, thank you. We're down to our 2-minute closing statements, and we'll begin with Karyn Polito.
As you can see, there's a clear difference between me and my opponent. As the former chair of the Democratic National Party, someone that is forever tied to the politics of the status quo, you're going to continue to get more of the same, more taxes, more spending, more borrowings that are compromising our operating budget, compromising our cities and towns, and compromising the taxpayers of our Commonwealth. I believe that we need to have some distance between the treasurer and the governor, whoever it is, and the Beacon Hill leadership. And you need to have that independent thinker and independent-minded decision-maker in that office. That is why I am running for state treasurer, someone that has a proven record of standing up for the taxpayers at every turn, someone that has fought the culture on Beacon Hill and is looking for a whole new approach. That's who I am. And as a mother, as a business owner, as a fiscal conservative, bringing those values that I grew up with and that my great-grandfather brought over to this country 100 years ago are exactly what we need more of in state government. I'm not in this race to help myself. I am not taking a public pension. I am in this race to help the people of this state, the taxpayers, and to work for you. And I ask for your vote on November 2nd. Thank you very much.
Now 2 minutes from Steve Grossman.
During this last 16 months, I've had a chance to think a lot about the lessons that I was taught and the lessons that I've learned throughout my life. I remember sitting with my grandfather, who founded our family business 100 years ago in 1910. Max Grossman was his name. Senior in high school, he said, Steve, there were only 4 things I ever wanted to do with my life. I wanted to have a family, I wanted to educate my kids, I wanted to own my own business, and I wanted to give something back to the community. Community service. Something that he taught me, something that I've tried to take with me every day of my life. He did start that business. He did have that vision. He did have that dream. And we're in the 4th generation. My 2 boys, David and Ben, are now co-presidents of the company. Barbara and I, Barbara's a professor of theater and vice chair of the Mass Cultural Council, have brought up a family. My parents gave me great lessons. My mother will be 89. She still comes to work 4 days a week. And my mother said when I was growing up, she said, Steve, live within your means. Don't speculate. Protect your nest egg. And I take those lessons, too, with me every day in my business life, as a business owner, and to the Treasurer's office if I'm fortunate enough to be there. Seems to me this election is about 3 things. With 300,000 people out of work and the people of this Commonwealth really under assault, who is going to be the treasurer, who's going to protect the public's money, who's going to put the state's checkbook up online, who's going to bid out every service that the treasurer is responsible for, who's going to use 35 years of leadership to help create jobs, who's going to move money out of those biggest banks that have failed to deliver for us into small local community banks so that small businesses can get the capital they need. That's what this race is all about, revitalizing small businesses, helping to create jobs, put Massachusetts back on the track again. And I hope when people vote on November 2nd, they'll consider my candidacy, and I'm very grateful to this radio station and to all of you for being part of this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you to the candidates, Steve Grossman and Karyn Polito, and to our panel, Vicki Downing from Enterprise News, Lisa Crowley from the Brockton Post, and we'll hear just a minute from Kevin Tachi, WXBR News producer. We also thank Brockton Community Cable Television, Brockton Community Access, for videotaping and being our media partner on the screen on television, and you can watch these proceedings just about any time after this. Kevin Tachi, our news producer.
Just want to thank the candidates for being passionate about running for this office, and it showed today, whether it was, depending on what the information was and going back and forth, but you both have passion, and we here at WXBR, we wish both of you the best of luck the next couple of weeks as you're out there campaigning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you to all the panelists and to all the listeners, because ultimately they're the voters and they're the ones who are going to make the decision.
Thank you very much. To our listeners, we're going to take a short break and be back with more of the program. To our cable television viewers, thank you for watching, and we'll be right back. Or not.
Southern New England's best. This is 1460 WXBR, Boston.